posterity. That way, if even if they're not here, teachers aren't here, they can at least watch the tutorial and get some information. Or if you forget something, I'm going to send everybody a YouTube link for this conversation so you can go back and see things if you can't remember how to do something. So, first of all, I want to say thank you for giving your time, effort to this ministry. I cannot tell you how important it is for us as a network to be training up pastors. And this is, since School of Ministry is basically an introduction into a lot of these subjects, it's not a definitive uh, overgoing of all this information. This basically just wets their whistle. And that's the best we can do in the time that we have. But my hope is that maybe as we go further down this road, when we get students, right now we have about 14 of our students last year going through their internship right now so that they can get credentialed next year. So we have a potential of 14 new pastors that came through School of Ministry this year that will be ready for credential next year. So going forward, I'd love to do maybe some theological meetings, town halls with some of these students, just to kind of let them go a little bit deeper, challenging them a little bit more in some of the subject matter that we've talked about, because we want our pastors to be biblically sound, and this gives them an introduction. But if there's not that self drive, they're going to need a little more encouragement, and so maybe we could do something down the road. But I want to talk about School of Ministry today. So I want to kind of talk a little bit about your schedule. Those of you that are teaching, and I know there's 4 of us that are teaching the very first class. Conrad and I did that last year. We taught this first class. We had plenty of time to prepare. Felt like really rushed last year to get this all done. But it's a little intimidating teaching your first class. So if you're teaching your first class, I appreciate that. Don't be intimidated. You'll do very well. We've got all the tools that you need to make you successful. In order to teach your class, you need to order a book. So if you're teaching that first class, especially, I'd encourage you to order your book if you haven't already, so that you have it and you're ready to go. Your students need to be encouraged as well to get their books and to start reading them and filling out their study guides as soon as they can. The earlier you start, the easier it is. So last year we had Judy Sargent. She was one of our students. She registered in June and she had her first class done a month before class started. So she had all her study guide filled out, read the book. She was good. That made her first class experience very easy. And she went on to the next class and started that process. So it's a lot easier than we had a student in the last class we did start, I think 2 days or 1 day before the class. And it's just impossible to, you come to the class and then you have to go back and do all the work. And it's, to be honest, when they do that, they don't finish the class. So their best opportunity for success is starting early. Our classes start for August. August 10th is our first class day. But the class starts always a month earlier than your first start day. So the class day is on the 10th, and the actual class starts on July 14th. I'm going to show you here. I'm going to share my screen here real quick. So this is our website, which is really cool. That's not Shoshone Falls, by the way. It just looks like it is. So if you go up here to SIDSOM, you click this tab. This is our network website, sm.ag. You can also go to the sim.ag/SIDSOM to get directly to the site. This has got a promo video on it. If you haven't seen this video, don't let the guy at the beginning make you not watch it. It's worth watching. But you can go watch the video. We sent out a downloadable link for you on our Facebook page. So if you go on our Southern Idaho Ministry Network Facebook page, there's that School of Ministry ad is there. You can watch it and you can go ahead and share it with people. But let's say you're teaching a class. There's two levels, certified or licensed. I sent you a digital copy of the schedule, initially when I sent the first email, looks something like this. And this. This is licensed, this is certified. And I'll show you, I've got them downloadable for you. So I'll send them again to you if you didn't get them. But that shows you the schedule. If you don't have that available, you can click, let's say here to certified classes, if you're a certified teacher. And you can go here and on the web page, you can see that hermeneutics, the first class, starts July 14th and the class date is the 10th. The class date times are basically 9 to, we say 9 to 3, but I don't think we ever had a class go to 3. But that's what our schedule is. So as teachers, we ask you guys to be there about 15 minutes early at least, so that you're able to get your technology settled. If you're teaching, if you have a PowerPoint, you don't have to have a PowerPoint, but if you do, we want to make sure that you're plugged in and ready to go here or at as the case may be if you're in Twin Falls. So we want to make sure that you're there 15 minutes early. So at 8:45 you want to be there and be ready to go. So if you forget, like I know, let's see, I'm going to go back here for a second and I'm going to go to the licensing schedule here to show you. It doesn't list the teachers. So again, you have the course schedules I sent you with the teaching information. So let's say the Romans class here, you guys, Tim and Debbie, the textbook's right there for you. It tells you start date, end date textbook. So if you need to know which textbook you want to order, you just go to this area and you can click, let's see. Sergio, you're teaching Acts, correct? So you just click textbook here and that link will take you right to Amazon where you can download the book and or purchase the book. $23 right now. It's a bargain. Our class books, our textbooks cost on the high side $45, on the low side $12 for a textbook. So you never know. They're not that much. And I've got Audible, so a lot of times I can actually listen to the book as well, which is always
has that book been revised at all?
The Amazon link will send you to the correct, if it has been
Okay.
resolved, if it's like the second edition, third edition,
Okay.
it'll be the right
It'll
one
let you
that you
know.
need.
Because
Yeah.
I think I still have that book from college, so that's what I was wondering if it was still
Yeah,
revised.
I can't tell you if it's been
Okay.
revised, just looking at it. I'm guessing it
Yeah.
would be. But this is the book that the students, what's nice about getting this specific book is when you look at the study guide answers, the answers are keyed to this textbook.
Oh, good. Okay.
So if you're saying, hey, a student can't find the answer to number 10, you can say the answer's on page 47 of this book.
Okay.
So if you have a different book, it might be a different page number.
Okay.
And you have a harder time to find it. But that's how easy it is to get your textbook. And you can order your textbooks at any time. You don't have to wait. We don't pay for the textbooks, but we do pay for you to teach the class. So teachers receive an honorarium of about $250 to teach the class. And that honorarium covers your textbook, your time. It also covers the time you have to go through and you have to correct the study guides, which we'll talk about. Those are the 3 things that you do in the class. So, but that's this website. The school of ministry website can help you navigate your textbooks. If your students don't know how to register, you say, if you want to register for the certified classes, you just go to this page, certified, and then you just click the registration button like this. All they have to do is fill out which location they're at, first and last name, email address. We only have a binary gender on this page, which that's all we'll ever have. And then church name, address, phone number, all that kind of stuff. And whether or not they're agreeing to the terms, and then credit card information. So we need about 6 students per class to make the classroom pay for itself. So we're not trying to make money. We're just trying not to lose money if we can. Right now, well, I'll show you in a minute, but that's any questions on this website?
So just a quick question. 2 of those classes are on the same date, and are we in the same building?
Yes. That's a great question, Tim. Yes. So for instance, in Nampa, We're going to have the license in the boardroom, and then
Okay.
the certified classroom will be in the other in the bigger room.
Okay.
And we'll actually eat lunch together. So our classes will share lunch together, and then we'll go back and our separate for our testing time and our reviews.
Is there
They,
gonna be lunch there for them, or do they bring their own?
we actually provide food for everybody. That's
Oh.
part of that registration. That
Okay.
registration pays for our students. It pays for their lunch, their drinks. We pay for all that kind of stuff. So we find that keeping them here is a lot better than sending them off for lunch and having them try to come back.
Yeah.
And it cuts down on their costs too. So if someone ever says, I can't believe I'm paying $90, you're actually getting a lot for $90. You're getting in-person class, a classroom, you're actually getting a lunch, maybe a breakfast. We have breakfast and lunch that we serve, simple fruit for breakfast and things, but it's I think it's a great value for what the students get. And you get a community. The biggest part of school administry that I love is the community. And at the end of the day, if you watch the video, what the students loved, they love the teachers, they love being exposed to you, and getting to know who you are. And they also enjoyed the camaraderie of building ministry together. So that's what school ministry does. Okay, any other questions about this part? If not, I'm going to move on. So we're not just so you know the way I guess here, let me just go into this. I'm going to show you how to sign into Google Classroom here. Everybody who teaches will be teaching through Google Classroom online. That's how we communicate with our students. Information in the 28, 30 days in between the start of class till actually the classroom day. And in order to do that, your email address needs to be able to sign into Google. So if you don't have an email that you can sign into Google with, I'd encourage you just to go to Google and sign up and create your own school administry email. It's like it could be SIDSOM, Tim Bridgewater SIDSOM at gmail.com, for instance. I think everybody should be Tim Bridgewater at SIDSOM or at
Perfect. Perfect.
So we could do that. Sign up if you want to do that. That's easy. Then all of your teacher stuff's in one location. You don't have to have it, in your church stuff or in your other stuff that you have, personal stuff. You can have it in one location if you'd like to do that. Some of our teachers have done that. It's been a great thing for them. But so for me, I'm going to sign in here. Like I said, I'm signed in here. Let me sign out for a second, and then manage my account. I guess no.
And I got into it, but
There we go. All right. So I'm going to say, if you can see here, I have a lot of church accounts that I have because we've helped a lot of churches. So I make an email for every church. So I'm just going to sign into Google here. And I'm going to come up here in this area and I'm going to find Google Classroom, which happens to be right there. And once you go to Google Classroom, I'm going to send you, once I get your email, so everyone has to send me, if the email I have of you is not the email you want to use for school ministry, I need you to send me an email with your school ministry preferred email address, and we'll invite you to this class. So Conrad, you should have gotten your invitation today for this class. I just sent it to you.
I've already accepted it. Yeah.
Okay, so we're good. I'd see that in a second when I load up on it. As a teacher, once you sign in Google, go to Classroom. If you've accepted the invitation, this is where it takes you. So I want to take you quickly through this. Actually, you know what? Before I do that, I'm gonna do this. I have in my notes I'm supposed to do. Oops, hold on a second. What did I do? I'm sorry. I meant to minimize. Here we go. Before I do that, I want to talk about our Dropbox link because that's really important. I sent you all a Dropbox link it's just something that you click. It's a little link here. You click it, it takes you to Dropbox, and it's going to look something like this. And this is all of our documents for school of ministry are found in this link, this Dropbox link. This has all the information that you need to teach your class. So for instance, if you're a certified, you have to click certified if you're teaching a certified class. All the classes are listed here in the certified folder. And so for us, we're going to click hermeneutics because that's the class I'm teaching. And you're going to have these 5 documents in all the drop boxes. The first one is the study guide answers. This is the regular study guide as a PDF version and the study guide as a Microsoft Word document right here. So the last one is the test key, and then the last one's the test itself. Those are the documents that are found here. So your students in Google Classroom, they'll have a link to the study guide as a PDF version and as a Word document. So they can choose to download each one of those. They don't have to come to this side to get that. Those links are already built in to Google Classroom. The answers and the answer key for the test and the study guide is not. So you as a teacher, if you want to know what the study guide answers are, I'd encourage you to download this at the beginning of your class so you have that. That way, if students ask you questions like, I can't find the answer to question number 7 on the study guide answers. If you click this here, I'll just click it. This is so you can see it here. It says right here, page 18, just trying to, page 18, page 22 is the answer for number 2. And if they go to that page, they can actually find what's the aim of good interpretation. They can actually find that answer on that page. So as a teacher, you don't have to give them the answer. And I just want to encourage you not to give them the answer. I think it's always better for them to find the answer than for you just to give it to them. So honestly, if you give them the page number, you have given it to them. It's really easy. And I haven't done that very much, but especially with their first class, whether it's licensed or whether it's certified, they're trying to learn the system at first. So you want to be ready to help them to find that answer. And sometimes in different books that I've had a chance to teach, the answers aren't always straightforward to find. So I had some answers that were in footnotes. Really hard for students to look at a footnote to find an answer. So if you know where it is, you can kind of share with them it's this. One of my things that I like to do as a teacher is I like to take the book. I take the book that I order and I go through the study guide and I highlight all the answers in my book. And I do that for 2 reasons. Number one, even if I read the book, I want to make sure I see the study guide answers so I can see where it came from. I know the context of what was being said. I know what was trying to be communicated, because sometimes these questions seem kind of random, but if you're reading the book, it makes more sense. And then if you know to look for the answer in the content that we're trying to instruct them in, that really helps us to be able to communicate that to the students. So I think it's good practice just to go through and highlight all the answers in the book so you know what the author means. And by the way, if you disagree with an author, it's okay to say that, but just recognize what the author says is on the test. So you can still disagree with it, say, hey, I just didn't like that take on it. That's okay. This is what the book says, because I've done that before. I said, this is what this teacher says. I think it's better to say this, or I think this is a better take of this subject matter than the book, but this is what the answer is on the test. So they know, especially if it's true or false. You don't want them to say true and not agree with you and say false. So just however that looks. Okay. So does that make sense? That's the study guide answers. That if you download that, you have that with you. What's nice is the student asks you a question and you're at a baseball game, you can give them that page number. You don't have to try to come home later and find it. It's just with you all the time. The test key just tells you all the answers for the test. You don't actually have to grade the test in school of ministry. This just shows you what the questions are and what the answers are. So I like to coordinate this with my study guide questions. So I can say this question relates to this study guide answer. So it helps a little bit for me. But never give the answer key to the students. That goes without saying, but I'm going to say it. Never give the test answer key to the students, Once you give a digital copy of answers to students, they have it forever and they pass it on like the cold to each other. It's just always there. So never do that.
So how does the test get graded? Did they take it online?
Yeah, we'll get to that when we look at school classroom. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
they take it
All right.
online and it's instantly graded. We'll talk about that because there's a couple steps we have to take after they take a test. As far as yeah, and so all that. So when you get into this document, so if for license level, same thing. You go to class materials. Here's all the, here's all the classes, study guide answers, test key, test. It's all there, and you just have to kind of click through to see it. That's why it's licensed class materials. I don't know. And then here in the main Dropbox area, there's some things like our academic policy, our class day schedules here. So if you want to know, like, what am I supposed to do in the class day? This is our class day schedule for you to look at. We send this to you the week of your class. So you'll get this schedule again on the week of your class, even if you don't download it. And many times we'll wait until Wednesday. And you might say, well, why don't you send that to me earlier with the list of the students? It's because, and Tanda knows this, she's the administrator, she's working with these students. Some of them don't even sign up. Like if you have a married couple, we found that a married couple, one person will sign up, they'll do the study guides together, and then the spouse will sign up at the very end for whatever reason. I don't know if it's financial, I don't know. We just have people sign up on the last day or the day before who've been in the class the whole time, but haven't done any work. And so I haven't signed up for the class, but at the end they sign up and we're all good. So that's why you don't get your list until Wednesday, but we try to share with you when we can, as soon as we can, how many it looks like you're going to have. But this just shows you how your class starts, 9 o'clock. You welcome everybody. You can talk for a few minutes, and then you get in a lecture. You only have about from 9 to 12 to do your lectures, with about a 15-minute, 10-minute break in the middle. So we want to use as much time as we can to talk about the material because we don't have a lot of time to cover all this material. The larger your book, the more time you want to spend just sharing with your class. But it is really important to get to know everybody, to ask everyone's name. About 5 classes in, they know each other, and you don't know any of them when you walk in. But it's helpful for you to find out who they are. So 12 o'clock, we do lunch. 12:30, 12:45, we review the study guide. If a person comes to class and they haven't turned in their study guide, they can come to this part of the class, and then after that, they need to leave. When you go over the study guide, they can't take the test until they finish the study guide. And you can't review the study guide. You're giving all the study guide answers for them. You're basically just reading the questions and the study guide answers. I've seen teachers read the questions and have students give the answers. Whichever works for you. I always think it's important for the students to have the right answers. So I know the teacher has the right answers. I'm not always sure about the students, if they have the right answers. So just read the questions and answers, and they can kind of walk through it so they can make sure they have the right answers before they take the test. When they take the test, every student, when they log in, and I'll show you Google Classroom, they have a little code that they have to put in. It's like a 6-digit number that they have to put in with their name to take the test. Once they log into the test, they have an hour and a half to finish it. Most of them finish in 30 minutes. It's like they're Domino's pizza drivers. They just get it done. But we had a student last year, Gabriel Ramirez. He's an assembly. He's going to be credentialed AG pastor. He's working with Jim over at Wilder, at Crossroads Assembly in Wilder. And Gabriel doesn't speak very much English. He took all the classes, probably got a B-ish, maybe C, in all of his classes for a grade, but he took all the time because English is a second language. But he still passed the tests. So really proud of Gabriel. Really proud of Gabriel. Um, and then at 12:30 or 2:30, 3 o'clock, you're done. That's it. That's the day. So that document is here in your SIDSOM Dropbox. It's the
Can
class
I
day
say
schedule.
something?
Yeah, go ahead, Tiana.
Oh, I just gonna say that they can only take the test once that day. So they can't take it again. And
One of
that's
the
really important. So we kind of had a situation where
we did. Um,
yeah.
half of our students on the Napa campus were under the age of 25. So we had a couple high schoolers. We found the high schoolers, the guys who are smartest on technology. It's interesting how they do things. They found out they could go through, take the test, and then take it again and get a better grade on it, which is not what you're supposed to do, because that's not the point, is to get. As a matter of fact, the first time someone did it, they actually got a worse grade on the second time than they did on the first time.
Maybe teach the ethics class before any of the other classes.
Yes, Conrad, we should do that. But I think that's one of the things we need to talk about just with our students, is that cheating is the subject of cheating. Here we have people who are trying to get Assembly God credentials, and they're not actually using integrity in their classroom situations. So we've had to have some talk, especially with our younger students. I don't think we had any older students do this. It was just our very young students that did this.
Well, I'm still having a hard time getting on the Dropbox with the link you put it on the
Okay.
yeah, I know that happened last year too. For some reason, it attaches itself as an attachment, but it doesn't allow me to link. It doesn't link to me in anything. So when I click on it, it just downloads this thing, and I don't think that really actually does anything.
Okay. I'll see what I can do to clean that up, Conrad. I might have a different report.
I'm just wondering about, like, whatever it is, I don't know if anybody else has that issue, but I know that happened last year too.
Do you have to download the Dropbox app?
I don't
Well,
think
I didn't
think
have
you
to
do.
last year. Eventually,
Or do you have to have an account with Dropbox?
I don't know. I got into it last year eventually, just with another link or something. But what gets sent off in the email is just an attachment. It doesn't actually. It's not like it's a link within the text. I think that would be a better way to have it.
Okay.
If the actual link was, like just like you would for any website, was put in the text of the document. Because I don't really know why I'm having an issue with it. I don't have the app on. I suppose that's possibly where I'm having the problem, but I don't use Dropbox that often. So I'd rather just have a link that takes me directly to it.
I've got a link that I can pull up.
Yeah.
And
If nothing's changed from last year, I mean, everything I have I've already downloaded, but I don't remember how I got to it last. Probably could look at an email you sent me last year too, I suppose, and find it.
It could be, but I appreciate you telling me that's an issue.
Yeah.
And send it to you. Apple loves to put things as a picture link now instead of just a strictly text link. You have to.
Well, and it may be that it works with Apple, no problem, but I don't use Apple because I don't really like anything that is like reminiscent of the garden and the apple bitten apple, and
Sure.
I like to avoid all appearance of evil.
It's very, very, very noble. Very noble. Okay. Let's see. There's anything else here. Faculty, that's not faculty qualifications. Because you're all faculty, what the school of ministry is actually a national thing for the Assemblies of God. It's not just us. We're sharing the same information that other networks are teaching through their processes all around the country. So part of our certification process is they ask us to get a little kind of a paragraph of each of you, of your experience as a pastor teacher, just how many years, just a simple write-up of you, like I wrote Joel Wendland. I pastored for 30 years, superintendent of Southern Idaho. I've got a BA degree at Trinity Bible College, and that's kind of what I just wrote. That was my qualifications for being a teacher of school ministry. So they ask us to have qualification paragraphs for each of our teachers. So if you could write something like that and send that to me, it doesn't have to be long. It's just something that we keep for our records, just so people know who's teaching it. One of the main qualifications for school of ministry is you have to hold a level of credential or above that you're teaching. So a certified minister can teach a certified class, but a certified minister can teach a licensed or ordained class. Even if they had a master's degree or a doctorate degree, you can't teach above your level of credential. So the credential holds the value, not the degree, if that makes sense. So we ask for that. Okay, that's Dropbox for us to take a look at. And now I'm going to go back to, here we go, logging into, this is Google Classroom again. This is how you're going to teach. Now, I taught hermeneutics last year, and there's hermeneutics this year. So this is 23-24. This is 24-25. If you taught a class last year, make sure you teach the right year when you click it. Don't click into last year's classes. There's Conrad. He's having conversations because that's not the class that you're teaching. So make sure if you taught last year, here's the new class. This is 24-25 right here. So you're in the right class. There's 4 things that you need to see as a teacher. The stream, this is where you communicate with students. So you could type here and say, hey, you know, this is Pastor Joel. You know, I'm so excited about you know, school of ministry. Okay, and then boom, you can, you know, then you just hit enter, and then all your students see that. And I want to encourage you to kind of say some things to your students as a part of introduction, and say, hey, let us know where you're at or where you're from, and start communicating with your students right away. It's always a good thing to do. And then, you know, if you have a question, you could say, if you have a question, this is a great place to ask questions for me as your teacher. I'd love to respond to you. And then when they ask you a question, what you'll get in your email with your email address is you'll get a little note from School of Ministry saying so-and-so asked a question. So you can respond to that person through the email that they sent. It'll get posted here, or you can log into this and then respond to them here. Either way works. But you'll get an email every time there's something that's comes from School of Ministry. Here, you'll see it in your email box. You'll see it in your inbox. So it's kind of a good way to communicate, and it's a good way for you to stay connected to your class. All right. Yeah, just that's okay. I don't want that. All right. So this is your classwork. Now your students see this too. Each one of these boxes you can click. And like for textbook, this is the same link that we have online for the textbook here. And this link here is the study guide link. So they click on that and they can download their study guide. So same thing for you. If you want to download a blank study guide, you can. That's where it's at. And the
I
textbook.
found that old link to the Dropbox.
Did it work?
Yeah, you did send it as I had the issue last year and you sent it to me
as a text.
As a link, yeah.
I'll do that again, Conrad. I'll send the same thing again.
Yeah, it's because it did go to the right place. I mean, as far as it's still the same one. So
okay.
You probably just updated the folder, didn't you?
Yeah, I think what happened is that when I copied that link and put it on my desktop, it created that icon.
Yeah.
And so that's probably an Apple thing.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yep.
So
that's what it did. Is it just took that icon and then attached it. Yeah.
Yes. So for study guides here, they have both the PDF and the doc link here, so they can download both of them or one of them. It doesn't matter. Now you'll notice here as a teacher, you have the number assigned here, number turned in. This is the number of people registered for the class. So right now, in our hermeneutics class, we have one student that's actually once they register, they're instantly sent a link, and they have to click the link to get them connected to Google Classroom. So what I found is a lot of our students, they register for the class, they think they're done, they never click the link. So we have 4 students in this class, but only one of them has clicked the link and is actually in the class. So we're going to send out reminders. This is something that Tanda does. She sends out reminders to students to say, hey, here's your link again. Don't forget to click the link so you are a part of the class. And hopefully that number will go up to 4. Right now, I have 4 people in the Napa location. I don't have anyone in the Twin Falls location yet, but we're still a week or 2 out before the class even starts. So we find people start late. They don't sign up right away. So we're still working on it. If you're on the east side, and you have some students that are interested in being in hermeneutics or in the Book of Romans, please encourage them to sign up and to click the link so we know that they're coming. So that tells you as a teacher how many students have gotten their study guide, and then at how many students have turned it in. You want this on Friday morning, you want this to be equal to this. It generally isn't, but you can see who has it. By clicking here, you can kind of see, here's the person who's assigned it here. And once they complete it, there'll be a completed thing up here that says this is the student that completed it. So all I did was I clicked this to get to this page. Okay, that's your study guide. Attendance is pretty easy. Attendance is, oh, that's kind of cool. Attendance is, here's the assignment again. And once they attend, all they have to do here is say, Bonnie, click, she attended it. You know, you can, yes, I attended the class. No, I didn't attend the class. Once we always encourage the students before they take the test, after the study guide review, to make sure they click on attendance and say they're here. So once they come to the class, they can say they're here anytime. But as a teacher, if they forget, which happens so many times, we have to go in and say, yes, they were here. So if you don't handle it as a teacher, we have to call you and say, was so-and-so at the class? Because we don't know. We can kind of guess who took the test, that they were at the class, but we always love to know that they were at the class with you. They just didn't take the test at home. So the way the grades work is, the weight of grading is they get 10% of their grade is attendance. When they watch the class or they participate in the class, they get 10% of their grade. They get 20% of their grade from the study guide, completing all the study guide. And I found that some of the students are like 20%. If I do well in the test and I attend the class, that's 80%. I don't really need to do the study guide. We had a couple students try that this year, and we said, no, you need to do the study guide. That's a part of your classwork. So don't let students try to think they could just not do the study guide, get away with it. That's the study guide is an educational tool that helps them learn the information. If they're not doing the study guide, they're not learning anything. So that's attendance. Final exam. If you click the link here to the final exam here, well, this test isn't open yet because I'm not a student, so I'm a teacher, so I can't do it. But they click the link there. Once they click the link, you see this code right here? They have to copy that code and then click the link, and then they put the code in and their name, and then they can start taking the test. So the only thing you have to remember about the test is they have to copy the code, click the link, take the test. So everybody needs some sort of computer or phone or tablet in order for them to take the test. They can't just take it in. There's not a paper test. We could print out a paper test for them, but then you have to grade it. So we've just asked people to bring computers or laptops, or phones are a little tricky. They can work, but it's optimized for a desktop, or a laptop is great. That's the best thing. But you can use a tablet. Once the hour and a half is up, they're done. They're kicked out. Like I said, I haven't had anybody not finish the test. Actually, that's not true. I think Dorothy didn't finish the test on the east side for her first test. She was overwhelmed, but we helped her finish it. So but almost Dorothy's like 70 years old, and she's doing school of ministry. Very proud of her for doing that. But after that first test, she's been great, so she hasn't had an issue since. Okay. And so any questions about this? Any questions about this? This is the body of what we're doing here for school of ministry. Is there any questions about that, about Google Classroom? And again, you may, as you're doing it, you'll have more questions. You go here to people, you'll see here's the teachers. School of ministry admin, that's Tanda. She has access, so she can do the transcripts and the grading. There's me, there's Conrad, we're the teachers. And we only have one student, even though we have 4 right now, but they're all Napa side. So it doesn't mean there's nobody on in the Twin Falls area. I know there is. I just don't know why they haven't signed up yet. So, and then the last one here is the grades. So you see here, there's for the grades, you got the final exam grade and the attendance grade and the study guide grade. So let's say here for attendance, Bonnie Demo, she came to the class. She didn't get 10 points, she got 100 points. Because she was at the class. 100 out of 100. And that's all it is. Once you hit so as a teacher, you have to type in, like if they click yes on the attendance, that 100 will be there. But it'll be this light green. You have to hit this return thing. You have to click down return, and then that makes the grade official. So until that's official, you can change it. Final exam, that test grade, we put that test grade in there. You don't have to worry about that. We do ask the students, once they finish their test, they have an option to download the test. So we were encouraged to have them download the test and then give us and then they're supposed to give you that test. They're supposed to post it just like they post their study guides to you. So you have a copy of their completed test and their grade. So they download the test, they give it to you, they share it with you, and you've got a copy of the test and grade. And then you can put the grade in here. Now, if they don't do that, or they forget to do that, we have a backdoor where we can go ahead and get their grade and we can post it for them. What's nice is if you have the test and they have a question of what I got wrong on it, use the teacher can talk to them about it. But if you don't have a copy of the test, we can't, we only get the numbers. We don't actually see the test. So if they got like let's say they got a 75% and they want to know what they got wrong, if they didn't download their test at the end of their experience, at the end of the testing time, they have an option after they turn their test in to download. If they didn't download the test, we don't know what they got wrong. Mm-hmm. They do. So, or if they didn't download it, they don't know what they got wrong either. So you can do that. If you don't have it, we will do that. And then the study guide, you go back and grade the study guide. Every study guide has about 50 questions. So each question is worth about 2 points. So you can get it all right, half right, some right, not right. For each question, take 2 points off, and then you'll have that grade. So that's one thing as a teacher you're supposed to do, is to do that. So grading the first 2 probably takes as much time as the rest of them, because it takes time to do the first ones. Once you've got it down, it goes really fast for grading. Any questions about that? Might have questions later. Okay. Students are really used to this kind of methodology now. A lot of high schoolers and college-age students use Google Classroom or some other online classroom to do their study and their work. So students that are younger are really familiar with this. Older students, it doesn't take them very long to come acclimated. The first class is usually good enough. I'm going to get out of this class, for instance. Did you have a question, Tim? I'm sorry.
No, Debbie was asking what we use, but it was different than.
It's different.
Yeah.
That's same online, general format is the same.
Google Classroom is it's the reason we use it is it's inexpensive, to be honest. Always a good reason to use it. Where are you, Classroom? This is our school administry side. This is the admin side. I'm only doing this. You'll notice that the green is for the certified classes and the blue is for the licensed classes. So, oops, people.
Joel, has there been any major changes since last run of classes as far as way
No.
things are done?
No, not really. I think I know a lot more now than I did the first class last year.
Well, I know the issue we had at the end of the class. What was that again?
It was
Um,
downloading the test and posting it. That's always been a
right,
challenge.
right. That was the big thing, right? So
Yeah,
they have to download it.
correct.
Yeah,
They have to download and post it but it's hard because it doesn't download in a friendly spot. They have to know kind of how to use a computer a
Right.
little bit or direct it better to get it to post, and then they have to attach it. That's always the challenge.
I think
It's
what I
not-
did was I made sure they let me see their score before they moved on, just so I could write it down and have a record of it, just in case they had an issue with that.
Yep, that's good to do too. A lot
Um,
of students get done, click, and just shut her down, but that's good, Conrad.
yeah, just because, yeah, so I had everybody's grade or score on it, then we could figure out the details if there was an issue or somebody's connection went bad or whatever. So
Yep.
I
Yep.
say it was a score because it wouldn't really quite score it yet. We still had to do that, but well, no, it scores automatically, right?
It scores. The test scores automatically. The study
right.
guide's what we have to do.
Yep.
Yep.
So yeah,
So for teaching, and by the way, when you accept this, I know Debbie has accepted this for Romans, you can see your students that are already here. Josh, last name Tanda, Cabello, is that right? Josh is he goes to Eagle, now Ascend Church. Josh and his wife Cindy are tremendous people and have a genuine call of God, call of ministry on their lives. So you guys will enjoy getting to meet them. And
Nice.
then, Judy Sargent. It's not Rob and Judy, it's just Judy that's going to be teaching, that's going to be there. And she doesn't necessarily want to get a certified or a licensed credential, but she's really enjoyed the classes and wants to continue. And then I know I've got at least two or three more to sign up for this class that haven't signed up yet. Mark Bridgewater, sorry, Mark,
Mhm.
from Weezer, Tanda.
Burgess.
Burgess, thank you. It's so close. Mark has signed up. He hasn't clicked the link yet. So I think the other two that I know that are coming from this side, Kristen Nelson, Anthony Nelson's wife from Church 724, and Leif, who works at the office, Leif Nelson's also going to be part of this class. I just don't know how many classes he's taking. So maybe a couple others we're working on. But I don't have anybody on the east side yet. But again, it doesn't mean there's not anybody there. I tried to talk to a couple people when I saw them at youth camp to see if they were going to sign up to be a part of the licensing class, but I'm working on it. But if you have someone in your church or someone in your sphere that you would like to have them start in this process, this is a great opportunity to get them started now. What we found is the bigger that we start, the more students we're going to have for the whole class journey. The smaller we start, I think we're going to be trying to add, because we added a couple students and then lost a couple students every time. So we stayed pretty consistent in numbers, but it's a challenge. I know Megan Wright is going to be, I think she's certified. Is that right, Tanda?
I'm
Yes.
not sure which one she's doing.
Yeah. So we've got some pastors' wives that are signing up, but this is really exciting. Make sure that you talk to your students. Make sure you mention an introduction or before they take the test about the cheating thing. We had some at the end of the year, we had a few issues we had to deal with cheating. So we never said a student was cheating. We just talked to them about what they did. That this looks like this, so don't let that happen again. And they pretty much fell in line. Again, it was mostly the younger students that struggled with it. We didn't have any issues with their older students. So, so I don't know if that's maybe a little more maturity. I don't know. It's still not right, but we had to have those conversations. So the best way to not have those conversations is just to talk about it before you take the class, before you take at the beginning of the class and before they take the test. That integrity is really important. So instead of being out, don't be a cheater, be a person of integrity is probably a better way to frame that and do the right thing. So
I would say that they're really cheating themselves out too, and the people that will be ministering to, because they're not actually learning it.
Yep. 100%. 100%. Okay. Well, that's the tour. That's all that we have. Thank you guys for coming out. And any other questions that you have, I will send out. I'll send out that text link as well with the. I think I already sent out the schedules, the class, the course schedule, so you know which class you're teaching and the days that you're teaching it. You should have copies of that. And I sent the link, and I sent the teacher, just the basic teacher info document. That also is available on the Dropbox, where you can kind of know what's my responsibility as a teacher, what am I supposed to do. The main purpose of school of ministry is, I know when I'm teaching it, I'm trying to teach so that I reference the study guide. The study guide material is what's on the test. So if you teach just outside of the study guide, the students may not do as well. I found that it's, if you incorporate a lot of the study guide stuff, they do a lot better on the test. Although we're not just teaching the study guide. You know, we all should teach beyond the study guide, but I think you need to teach what's in the study guide, because the study guide's what's in the book. So make sure you do that. I found that teachers who didn't reference the study guide at all in their sessions, students struggled more with the test than the times that it was basically the core of what was being taught. They struggled less. So it's up to you as teachers to make sure that you're trying to teach as much as you can. I think teaching from the study guide gives you a good heart of what your material is that you have to cover, because some of those books are really big. When you get into survey books, they're pretty big. I taught New Testament survey last year and found that the study guide missed like about, in the New Testament, you only have 27 books. And I think we missed like 4 or 5 where they didn't even reference them. And I thought, that's not right. In a New Testament survey book, you should cover every book, because that's what you're doing. You're surveying the New Testament. So I made sure that I covered every book, even though the study guide didn't, because that's part of that educational process. But you talk about doing 27 books in 3 hours. You're given maybe 3 or 4 minutes per book. So you can see how much information you have versus how much time you have to communicate that. You're not giving a holistic view of the subject matter that we're teaching. So I try to stay close to the study guide, but I make sure that I feel like I've covered things that I need to cover in the text and the information that I have, because that's our job, is try to communicate them and to really help these people become I believe a lot of these people sitting in this class are called by God to be ministers, and this is their first outing as far as experiencing what that looks like. So we're facilitating the call of God on people, and that's a powerful obligation and opportunity that we have. And thank you guys for participating in that. And speaking life in the call of God in our students is one of the most profound things you can do, is to duplicate yourself in ministry in the life of somebody else and see them take that seed and flourish and see God bless that and work through them. It's a tremendous opportunity. So thank you guys very much. If there's any other questions that you have, don't hesitate to ask. That's why we're here. Yeah, it's the first class is coming up really soon. We'll keep you informed as far as student body and information, so you'll know who's on your docket. And if we need to do a Zoom class, some of you may find that I'll have a computer there for you, recording you to do a Zoom class so that we can post that and give that to our students who can't come to the class. We had to do that last year a couple times where students couldn't come, and we did a Zoom class for them. And we just put a computer in front and let you kind of talk to the computer. And just like you would a church service, you talk to the computer as well as talk to the class that's there. And it really works well. It's not ideal. I'd rather have the students there, but if they can't be there, at least they can get the information and have that experience as well. So very good. Anything else?
Yeah, just I was wondering, kind of, I'll read the notes that you give me, but the basic layout is that they're on their own pretty much at the beginning of the class, like a month before.
Yes.
And then you're just kind of there as a guide to
Yes.
help them out. Okay, and then you have the class a month later, and you sit down in that classroom and go over it one more time, and then take the test.
Yep.
Pretty much what the outline is. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, you're actually teaching the material.
Okay.
So you're kind of feathering it out for them so they have a better understanding of like
Okay.
what hermeneutics is, and all that information that's on the study guide. You're trying to make it something they can absorb and understand.
Okay.
Kind of what our job is.
And then the email, now you said that now, is it just to make a new Google email to have it for just that, or?
You can use your current email if you can sign into Google with it. If you
Yeah.
sign in and get your Gmail with your current email, you could use that email address. But
Okay.
if you have an email or you can't sign into Google, it's kind of hard for you to get into Google Classroom that way.
Right.
So-
So then I could make another one just for that, then I'll go do that.
I think it's easier, and then
Yeah.
it's unique and individual to you. When that you get email in there, that's for teaching.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Anything else? All right. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate your time. Can I just
Thank
pray over you and pray over this year as we kind of close and just ask for God's blessing? Father, we just thank you I thank you, Lord, for all these teachers today. Thank you, Lord, for whether they're here or whether they're watching this later. Lord, you've brought them to this moment to have an impact, not only in the area in which they live, but Lord, we don't know how many countless lives are going to be impacted by these individuals that are taking these classes and really developing the call of God that's resident in their heart and lives. Father, we get to be a part of that. We get to breathe life into that. And so, Lord, just pray for your blessing upon these teachers. God, that you would help us to take this opportunity to be prepared and to really have some mastery over these subjects where we could talk about them with authority and just encourage students, Lord, even in these moments that we have with them, that we can encourage the call of God and sharpen them in their understanding of who God is, how he operates, the importance of his word, and the importance of what God says to us, and how that motivates us, Lord, in the future that you have for us. So God, I pray that you'd bless these teachers and bless these students. God, that you'd bring us full classes for all of our classes that we have this year, not because we need the resources, but Lord, we need the pastors. We need to release people in these giftings so that we can reach more people in our communities for Christ. So Lord, we pray for your blessing and favor upon all these and upon the school, we ask in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. That's it. That's the end of the meeting.
Thank you.
You guys have a great afternoon and evening.
All
God
right.
bless.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.